Hello, my name is John Pierce, and this is the Teacher Education Podcast. Today, our topic is about mindfulness in the classroom, using mindfulness, meditation, nonviolence, and trauma-informed teaching. So, the other day, I was talking to my aunt. She's a third grade teacher in Chino Valley Unified. I also talked to my other aunt who teaches AP Literature at Ontario High School. And I asked both of them how exactly they implement mindfulness, meditation, nonviolence in their teaching practices. A few common threads I got between the two is that age does, even regardless of age, there are added benefits of using these types of social and emotional learning aspects within the classroom. For example, with everything going on with COVID-19 at the moment, what better time to actually implement these types of things within teaching? For example, with the classroom at Ontario High School with the AP students, she had an online Zoom social emotional check-in with the students. She decided to just give it a try, see how it would work with the students, and she allotted a 30-minute time slot to meet with everybody in her class. What ended up happening was they stayed on the Zoom call for about 3 hours, she said, about 2 hours more than expected, right? So I think that just goes to show exactly, especially with these stressful times we're in right now, how important these aspects of mindfulness and social emotional learning are. You know, with everything going on, everybody has so much on their plate. Schoolwork is becoming even harder for many students struggling with the impact of COVID-19 and more self-directed learning. So she said just being able to sit down and touch base with all the students really made them feel better about all their coursework. And she said that after she decided to do it, she'd make this an annual thing once a week, which she said helped with motivation and everything else within the class. Several of the students, she also mentioned to me, vocally pointed out that, after the social emotional check-in, she felt a lot better with her assignments, and that affected their motivation levels and thus their participation and effectiveness within the classroom environment and in their assignments. So I think the takeaway here is it might not seem like it really matches your curriculum sometimes, but it helps with so many things when you implement these social emotional learning aspects and mindfulness within your classroom, because it increases motivation potentially. It also increases potential for, like I said, comprehension and intrinsic motivation. So I think that's one thing we have to keep in mind and we don't always think about sometimes. It may seem like we're wasting instruction time, but at the end of the day, if your students aren't motivated or have too much on their mind or they're too stressed out, that also affects them negatively and negatively affects the way they learn in your classroom. So I think the moral of the story here is use these, try these different techniques, meditation, mindfulness in your classroom, and see what the difference is. From my experience asking these two teachers, they've all been very positive and actually helped in the classroom with retention and everything else. Specifically, I found mindfulschools.org, their resources on exactly how to implement more mindfulness lessons to be very beneficial, and that's one way I would like to do that in my own teaching. Although most of their starter lessons do concentrate more on elementary grade levels, things like meditation and social emotional check-ins, which they kind of talk about in their different resources on the website, allow a good starting point for you to get an idea of how to start a mindfulness lesson or a social emotional learning lesson, or just not even a lesson, just an exercise to help your students feel safe and create a restorative classroom environment. This has been the Teacher Education Podcast talking about mindfulness, and I hope one day to do the same thing that my aunts did. Have a great day, guys.